Buenos días, bienvenidas y bienvenidos a la lección número 9 de español. Vamos a comenzar. Como cada día, os voy a recordar las cosas que necesitamos para la clase de español. Necesitamos una libreta, un boli negro o azul o verde, un lápiz, una goma, un ordenador y conocer la Google Site. Okay, so if you don't have those things at hand, you can pause the video, get everything, and then come back. All right? As every day, I'm going to tell you what we are going to be doing today. So we will start by revising and writing la fecha y el tiempo, which is basically las rutinas en la clase de español. Then we will be learning how to ask and tell the time in Spanish. You ask about the time in Spanish by saying ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Okay, we'll be working on this. We are also going to learn about shapes, las formas geométricas, basic ones. And then we'll be learning about Pablo Picasso, he was a very famous Spanish artist. We are going to be learning about him and about his work, Pablo Picasso. Okay, so we are going to be doing now our do now. We have to write the date and we have to write about the weather. Okay, and then there is always a couple of questions to challenge you. So I'm going to show you this because you need this for writing the date. Now, if you need to pause the video to write everything, that is fine, you pause the video. If you don't, just carry on, okay? This is for the weather, para el tiempo, do now. So you should pause the video now and try to write the date, la fecha, el tiempo, and answer to these questions, responder a estas preguntas, okay? I'm assuming you have now finished, so I'm going to write it to give you the answers. As you know, I always record the videos a week before, so my date will not be your date, okay? But anyway, hoy es jueves. Let me write it in red. What day is it? Jueves 18, sorry, jueves 18 de enero. Okay, so I'm going to be writing the date, my date for today, which is jueves. I'm going to write it in red. Let me see, es 18 de junio de 2020. So, jueves 18 de junio de 2020. Now, this question, ¿qué tiempo hace hoy? So, for me, today, hoy, hace sol y calor. It's very nice, the weather today. Now, ¿de qué color son tus ojos? So, mis ojos son de color marrón. I'll write it in red. Now, ¿cómo te sientes hoy? ¿Cómo te sientes hoy? So, remember when we were doing feelings? So we need to remember those words if we want to talk about how we feel today. In my case, hoy me siento feliz. I'm happy today. Okay. Hoy me siento feliz. So feliz and triste are words that never change, even if they are said by a girl or by a boy. Okay. But if I wanted to say something very similar, hoy me siento contenta, then because I am a girl, I should be saying contenta. okay? But if you're a boy, you need to say contento. So if you say hoy me siento feliz, that is fine for both. But if you want to use the word contento, contenta, you need to say contento if you are talking about a boy, or if you're a boy and you're talking about yourself. And you need to say contenta if you are talking about a girl, or you are a girl yourself and you're talking about yourself, okay? Now I'm going to read this, and as I always say, you need to pause the video when I finish in order to repeat what I say, or to read yours. So I'm going to start reading now. Fecha, jueves, 18 de junio de 2020. ¿Qué tiempo hace hoy? Hoy hace sol y calor. ¿De qué color son tus ojos? Mis ojos son de color marrón. ¿Cómo te sientes hoy? Hoy me siento feliz. Hoy me siento contenta. Okay? So this is for the do now. Now we are going to learn to ask about the time in Spanish. So how do you say what's the time in Spanish? Well, that's the sentence here. ¿Qué hora es? Now remember, hora has got an H, which is a silent letter. So we say, ¿qué hora es? So if you want to say, excuse me, what's the time? Then you would be saying, perdone, which is like, excuse me, perdone, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Okay, now, today we are going to be learning how to say the time when it's o'clock, okay? And then we'll be adding more things in the future, like in the next lessons. But for today, to start, we're going to learn how to say, like, it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock, okay? We're going to start with that. So, if I want to say that it's 1 o'clock, because 1 is singular, it's just 1, I would be using this sentence. Es la una en punto. Es la una en punto. Now for the rest, I would be using son las and then the time. Son las dos en punto. Now, en punto means o'clock, okay? Son las tres en punto. Son las cuatro en punto. Son las 5 en punto. Son las 6 en punto. Son las 7 en punto. Son las 8 en punto. Son las 9 en punto. Son las 10 en punto. Son las 11 en punto. Son las 12 en punto. So you only need to remember that when it is la una en punto, 1 o'clock, then you need to write or to say es la una en punto. For the rest, it would always be son las, the time, and en punto for saying o'clock. Okay? Now, this is for you to do now. ¿Qué hora es? So you've got this here, and you can see that it shows here las 4 en punto, 4 o'clock. So you need to write son las 4 en punto. Now you need to fill in this, to complete these times here in your books. And you need to pause the video to do that. And when you finish, you restart the video because I will be giving you the answers, okay? So you need to look at the hand clock, the small one, the short one, which is the one that shows the hour. And the long one will be on number 12, which means o'clock. So that's en punto, okay? So this is what you need to have a look at the short hand clock, all right? So now you please pause the video, and when you finish, come back. Okay, assuming that you have finished now, I'm going to give you the answers. So for the first one, that was the example, son las 4 en punto, fine. And then this one, son las 9 en punto, this one here, son las 8 en punto, y cuidado, cuidado con este, es la una en punto. Remember, and I've got it in red because it's the one that is different, right? es la 1 en punto. And then you've got son las 6 en punto, son las 7 en punto, son las 2 en punto, son las 5 en punto y son las 12 en punto. Okay. Now, remember this is our website. We've got here our Do Now, and we've got here our calendar with all the things. And now what we are going to do is, I'm going to go on to lessons years 5 and 6, which is your group. I'm going to go on to lesson 9, and I'm going to show you something. So when you go on to lesson number 9, you've got here, you will be having here this video as soon as I finish it, and the presentation of the lesson and different things that I will be explaining later. But you will have here a quiz for doing las horas and an interactive worksheet, a live worksheet for doing las horas as well. So I've got the interactive white sheet opened here, so we don't have to spend time waiting. So this is the way you should be doing this. ¿Qué hora es? So if you go in here, you don't have to write it. You need to press here. There is like this little small arrow, and you need to choose whether it's las 5 en punto, las 2 en punto, or las 8 en punto. So in this case, I would be saying las 2 en punto, because that's what it is. Once you finish doing all this, you need to go on to terminado, which means finished. And then it will give you an option. I don't want to do the worksheet for you. I'm just like going like this and nothing else. And this is like probably wrong. So if you go on to terminado, it will be showing you comprobar mis respuestas o enviar mis respuestas al profesor. You need to click on this option so you can check your answers. Okay, mine are going to be all wrong and empty now, but at least it will show you how it's going to look. I've got 3 out of 10. Okay, because I didn't answer. I only answered the first 3, and but not the rest. Okay, so it's because it's got 6 clocks. It's doing like a ratio. Okay. Anyway, so this is what you need to do. Don't write it. Just this should be wrong because it's 8 o'clock, 8 en punto. And then you'll get your mark, and that is for you. You don't have to send it to me. Okay. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to show you the rest of the lesson now. Before, I will show you as well. You've got the quiz here. You've got las horas, which is the live worksheet. You've got information about Picasso, and you've got information here about formas geométricas, videos, and songs, okay? And then you will be having also interactive white worksheets here for working about Picasso and also about shapes. So I'm just showing you what you've got here in the lesson for you to do, okay? All right. So going back now to our lesson, we're going to start now with, formas geométricas, shapes. Okay, so we are going to start now with las formas geométricas, shapes. This part of the lesson, formas geométricas and Pablo Picasso, is going to be exactly the same for year 3 and 4 and years 5 and 6, which means that sometimes I will be saying what the homework is for years 3 and 4, and some other times I will be telling years 5 and 6 what their homework is, okay? But for the rest of the lesson it will be the same because it's something new for everyone. Okay, so we are going to learn about las formas geométricas, shapes. I'm going to start by telling you how to say these shapes in Spanish. So, this is cuadrado, cuadrado, triángulo, triángulo, círculo, círculo, rectángulo, rectángulo. So I would be saying something like cuadrado, cuadrado, triángulo, triángulo, círculo, círculo, rectángulo, rectángulo. So you need to learn these words, okay? Cuadrado, cuadrado, triángulo, círculo, rectángulo. Okay? Now there are two more, which are rombo, I think in English is diamond, rombo y óvalo. Rombo y óvalo. So these are our shapes. Rectángulo, rectángulo, círculo, círculo, triángulo, triángulo, cuadrado, cuadrado. And then we've got óvalo, óvalo y rombo, rombo. These are our shapes. Now we're going to watch a video in both lessons 9, either the ones for years 3 and 4 than the one for years 5 and 6. You've got the link to FORMAS Geométricas, and there are two videos that I would like you to watch. The first one is very basic, so you learn the names of the shapes, and the other one is a bit more advanced, but I think it's worth to watch it. So I'm going to start with this one, and I hope you like it.
Las figuras geométricas. Vamos a divertirnos con las figuras geométricas. Círculo.
You can repeat. Círculo.
Triángulo.
Triángulo.
Cuadrado.
Cuadrado.
Rectángulo.
Rectángulo.
¿Dónde está el círculo en este dibujo?
So, where is, ¿dónde está? ¿Dónde está? Where is, ¿dónde está el círculo en este dibujo? And I guess you can guess, right? There. Although I know that a ball is not a círculo, but...
Muy bien. La pelota que tiene forma de círculo. ¿Puedes encontrar el triángulo?
Can you find un triángulo?
¡Excelente! El techo de la casa tiene forma de triángulo. ¿Puedes encontrar el cuadrado en este dibujo?
Puedes encontrar el
¡Buen
cuadrado.
trabajo! El regalo tiene forma de cuadrado. ¿Y el rectángulo dónde está? ¡Muy bien! El cuadro en la pared tiene forma de rectángulo. Círculo. Triángulo. Cuadrado. Rectángulo. Las figuras geométricas. Lo hiciste muy bien. Haz clic en la estrella y vuelve a ver el video.
Okay. So this is for you to learn the names. Now there is another video that I would like you to watch. This is for the older ones, more focused for years 5 and 6, but years 3 and 4, they are very advanced now, and I think it's worth it that you watch it, okay? Because I'm sure you will understand, you will be able to understand words, especially the words relating to shapes. So there we go.
Hola, hoy aprenderemos las figuras geométricas. ¿Sabías que las podemos usar para dibujar? ¡Mira!
Mira, Matías, me regalaron 4 rompecabezas. Los estoy separando con cuidado. ¿Has visto qué bonitos? Es verdad, sí. Fíjate que cuando tú quitas las piezas, quedan en el cartón figuras geométricas. ¿Sabes que yo también me di cuenta? Pero no sé qué figuras son. Natalia, recuerda que esta semana la maestra nos enseñó las figuras geométricas. Niños, Aquí están las figuras que más conocen. Ahora reconoceremos qué características tienen cada una de ellas porque no todas son iguales. Las figuras están formadas por lados, por los vértices y por la región interior. Cada figura tiene características diferentes.
El cuadrado tiene 4 lados, 4 vértices y sus lados son iguales.
El rectángulo tiene 4 vértices, la región interior y tiene 4 lados pero no son iguales. Muy bien, niños. El rectángulo tiene 2 pares de lados iguales. Miren la pizarra. Yo marqué con rayas qué lados son iguales.
Maestra, el triángulo tiene 3 lados y 3 vértices.
Así es, Mati. Esa es la característica de los triángulos. A veces pueden tener sus lados iguales y otras no.
Nos faltaría el círculo.
Pues el círculo es diferente a las otras figuras. No tiene lado ni vértice. Tiene borde y región interior. Miren bien esta casa. ¿Qué figuras se utilizaron para dibujarla? ¿Qué figuras son las ventanas?
So she's asking about, remember when we did parts of the school, las ventanas. So she's asking about what shape do the windows have.
Son rectángulos y la puerta también es un rectángulo.
Ahora, ¿qué figura se utilizó para dibujar la manija de la puerta?
Es un círculo.
Perfecto. Nos queda el cuadrado. ¿Dónde encuentran ustedes un cuadrado?
En la ventana de la puerta.
Creo que ya saben reconocer las figuras geométricas y ahora tendrán que hacer un dibujo con ellas. ¿Se animan?
Creo, Matías, que los puedo reconocer a todos. Si me equivoco, avísame. Las figuras que tienen 4 lados iguales son los cuadrados.
So 4 lados, like 4 sides, right? 4 lados.
Muy bien, continúa. Los que tienen 2 lados iguales y los otros también son iguales entre ellos se llaman rectángulos y los que tienen 3 lados son los triángulos. Vas muy bien. Me faltan los círculos, que son los que no tienen lados, pero sí bordes. Qué suerte que lo pudimos hacer, ¿no? Y no era tan difícil.
Fue fácil, ¿no? ¿Recuerdas?
Okay. So, yeah, I'm sure that the years 3s and 4s were able to understand the shapes and the numbers, okay? That's really good. So, remember, to access this, you go on to Formas Geométricas here. So these buttons here that are white with a red line out, they are quizzes, and these are links to different parts of the Google site for videos and songs, okay? So this is for Formas Geométricas. Okay, now another thing, oh yeah, before I go into this one, you've got here live worksheets, so you should be able to, if you go into here, you should be able to listen to it. Wait, it's loading, sorry.
Triángulo.
Okay.
Triángulo.
And then what you need to do is you need to join it to the right one.
Cuadrado.
This one.
Círculo.
I need to get, okay, the pencil to draw the line.
Óvalo.
Óvalo. That's quite advanced, óvalo.
Rectángulo.
So I go in here, you do this afterwards in your side. I need to get the pencil here. Okay.
Rombo.
Rombo, and then you just go in here, and then you say finish because it's finished, right? And you see, you go in here, and you click in here, check my answers. Sometimes it'll be in English, sometimes it'll be in Spanish. So we go into the left one, check my answers. Then it should give me, oh, 10 de 10. So that was very good. So if you want to try, right, you've got them here. And if you go on to lessons for years 3 and 4, lesson 9, because that was for years 5 and 6, you've got this one here, and this is your homework. There is another one, the one that I've already done, because this one is different. This one is only got 4, okay? And other things that we can do later. So, So, having finished with shapes, we are going to start with Pablo Picasso. So Pablo Picasso was an artist that was born in Spain, in Málaga. Pablo Picasso fue un pintor español que nació en Málaga. Málaga is in Spain, right? So this is London here, and this is Spain, and this is where you are, and this is where I am, and this is where Málaga is. So I need to make this bigger in form of a presentation. So if I go in here, I should be going to Google Maps. Okay, and so this is where you are, London, and this is, let's make it a bit bigger, not much. Let's zoom it. London, this is Spain, Madrid, Barcelona. This is where I am, Gijón. And this is Málaga. Can you see Málaga here? So if I go in Málaga, it should take me there. Ooh. Okay, so Málaga, and this is where Pablo Picasso was born, in Málaga. Okay, however, he also, however, he also studied in Madrid and in Barcelona. I'm going to show you now. So this is where I am, Gijón. I'll show you pictures later. So he went to Madrid to study. He went to Barcelona. He finally went to Paris, where he lived part of his life, and he died. And this is where you are, London. Okay? And just, although we are talking about Picasso, I'm going to show you a little bit about Gijón, which is where I am. Okay, this is by the sea, and when I finish this lesson I will be going to the beach in the afternoon because it's really nice and sunny today. So yeah, lucky me. So anyway, I will talk about Gijón sometime. Okay, I just wanted to show you where I am. So okay, so that's in terms of Pablo Picasso, and now I'm going to make this a bit smaller. Okay, here we are. So, Pablo Picasso, as I said, era un pintor, okay? He painted, but he also made sculptures. So, era un pintor. Nació en Málaga y pintó desde niño. This is when he was very little. When he was a child of maybe 6, 7 years old, he started to paint, and he was very, very good at painting, okay? He also was very good at doing portraits, and this is a self-portrait, un autorretrato of himself, right? So he studied pintura en Madrid, en Barcelona, pero también vivió en París. And then he had different periods, el periodo azul y el periodo rosa, which are like periods of his life in which he felt either very sad or very happy. When he felt very sad because a very close friend of him died, he painted everything like using blue, like this type of paintings, because he felt sad. So he felt blue, se sentía triste, y como se sentía triste, pintaba todo en azul. After that period, he felt happy because he felt in love with his first wife, and he started painting everything in pink. Pintaba todo en rosa, y ese fue su periodo rosa. Okay. Also, when he lived in Paris, in Spain, there was a horrible civil war, a war in the country. Like all wars, it was like a terrible period of time in my country. And he painted a very, very famous piece of art, which is called El Guernica. We will be talking about this later. He wanted to show the suffer and the sadness of the people of Spain through the war. Okay. Then he went into a period that is called Cubismo. And this period, Cubismo, is very is known because as a period in which he and other artists painted everything using different shapes. We are going to be learning about this. I wanted to include this painting because this is one of my favorite, and it's called Weeping Woman, Mujer Llorando. And it's related to the suffering of the Civil War as well, okay? And as you can see, most of the time he uses shapes. You can find lots of shapes, okay? I will be telling you about Cubism, and I will be inviting you to make a Cubism piece of art if you want to, at home or in the school, okay? This is as well another piece of art very famous, which is called Los Tres Músicos. Okay, and these paints, I could watch them, I could see them this year in London because at the National, at the Royal Academy of Arts in Piccadilly Street, there was a very nice exhibition of Pablo Picasso. I really wanted to take you there, but then because of the pandemic, everything closed, so we couldn't make it. But that was a very, very nice exhibition about Picasso's pieces of work and art, and it was lovely. Okay, maybe sometime in the future they will be holding an exhibition similar to that one, maybe by Picasso or by any other Spanish artists that we can visit. Okay, so let's just like recapitulate. So Picasso was born, remember, in Spain, in Malaga. He painted since he was very little because he really loved painting, and he was very talented. He studied in Madrid and in Barcelona. He lived in Paris, and he had these two periods, the blue, el periodo azul, when he was very sad because a very close friend died, with this type of pictures. Then el periodo rosa, because he was very happy by then. Then there was this, he started painting some pieces of art related to Cubism, but also to Surrealism, Cubismo y Subrealismo. And this is El Guernica, that he painted in Paris when there was a very horrible war in Spain. Other paintings that are very famous are Weeping Woman, Mujer Llorando, Los Tres Músicos, the three musicians, see, like the guitar, and these are the pentagrams with the music, and he's playing, I think it's the trumpet. So Los Tres Músicos. I will explain this type of art so you will understand better. And that's it. And now I think it's time for you to watch a video about Pablo Picasso. Let's go into this. So even if you go onto the years 3 and 4 or years 5 and 6, if you go onto Picasso, you will be here, and we are going to watch this video now. It's in Spanish, and I'm going to make it a bit slower.
Esta es la historia de un niño español que vivía en Málaga y murió a los 91 años.
So it's easier for you to understand.
Tenía tantos o más nombres como los dedos de sus manos, porque sus padres no pudieron decidirse. Al final lo llamaron...
This, what she's saying is, I didn't tell you about this. When he was born, his parents couldn't make up their mind about what name to call him for. Like, I mean, we call him Pablo Picasso. Picasso was his last name, and Pablo, Paul, was his first name, and we call him Pablo. But he had so many names because his parents, as I said, couldn't make up their mind. So what she's saying is that he had more names than fingers. ¿Ok? Más de 10, entonces.
¡Pablo! Entre los cuadros que pintó está el cuadro de niña con muñeca.
This is another work of art for him.
Años después, Picasso se enamoró y estaba muy feliz, así que cambió el color azul por el rosa y comenzó a dibujar payasos y personajes alegres del circo. Lo llamaron el periodo rosa de Picasso.
So when he was very happy and he was in his periodo rosa, he usually painted things related to the circus, like clowns and acrobats and all this.
Entre los cuadros que pintó está el cuadro de acróbata y joven arlequín. Picasso se casó con Olga y tuvo su primer hijo, Pablo. Era muy feliz y sus dibujos empezaron a ser muy especiales. Dibujaba ojos muy grandes y desordenados, bocas muy pequeñas, nariz de perfil y cuerpos extraños. Pero eso le gustaba. Esta fue su etapa del surrealismo.
Okay, so Picasso se casó con Olga, he married with Olga, and he had his first son, whose name was Pablo. Now, look, you can find words that you know here. Feliz. So he was feliz, estaba feliz, y sus dibujos, his drawings, empezaron a ser especiales, special. Dibujaba ojos, you know this, muy grandes, y desordenados, like with no order, bocas muy pequeñas y nariz de perfil. So you know all this. And then strange figures. And he was very happy when he did this, and this was called surrealism. Okay? Surrealismo.
A Pablo le gustaba mucho experimentar con sus dibujos y gritó: ¡Aquí está el secreto del cubismo! Frente a sus ojos había un mundo de formas geométricas de todos los tamaños.
So basically, le gustaba, como me gusta, no me gusta, le gustaba mucho experimentar, to experiment with his drawings. And that was the Cubism period, el cubismo. So he could, with his eyes, con sus ojos, él veía formas geométricas, shapes, de todos los tamaños, in all different sizes, okay?
Al mirar con atención, encontró las siguientes figuras. Cuadrados, figuras geométricas que tienen 4 lados iguales.
Okay, so from now on, we can go on to normal speed because these are easier words. And I remember how I taught you to play with this and the speed. This is in Spanish, velocidad de reproducción, but when you do it in your computers, it'll be in English. Okay, so you can move that into slower, so it's easier for you to understand what they are saying. So he used cuadrados.
Triángulos, figuras geométricas que tienen 3 lados.
3 lados.
Rectángulos, figuras geométricas de 4 lados, en los cuales 2 son más cortos que los otros 2. Y círculos, figuras geométricas de forma redonda. Entre los cuadros que pintó está el cuadro de 2 mujeres leyendo.
Okay, so this is a very famous picture by him. 2 mujeres leyendo, reading. And if you see, rombo, rectángulo almost, circle, rectángulo. So he used lots of different shapes and this is called cubismo. Not only him used cubismo, other artists as well, but he's very famous. He's Spanish, that's why I chose him. Okay.
A Picasso también le gustaba mucho viajar. Viajó a la ciudad de Guernica, pero allí comenzó a escuchar gritos muy fuertes, gritos de niños y de mujeres. ¿Qué estaba pasando en Guernica?
Now Guernica, this is Guernica, if you remember, that's the big picture that he made about the Civil War. It's really big, this picture. I've seen it. It's in Madrid, in Museo Reina Sofía, and I think it's like 7 meters long for 3 meters high. It's huge, okay? And it took him so long to paint this, first because he wanted to express this suffering, and that's not easy, and then because it was really big, okay?
Pero él no quería ver ninguna imagen triste y sin color, así que se acercó a aquella imagen y comenzó a dibujar palomas de la paz y a llenarlo de muchos colores alegres.
So this is the Guernica with colors, but the real one, the one that is in Madrid, is in black and white, as the one that I showed you before. He's also very famous for having drawn the pigeon, la paloma de la paz, that represents peace. Because we will be working about Pablo Picasso in the next lesson, we will be like learning more and more things, because there is so many things that I wanted to tell you, but we cannot learn everything in one lesson.
Todos se acercaron a Picasso y, muy orgullosos de él, volvieron a reír, a jugar y a ser felices.
Okay, so this
Fin.
is el fin. Okay, there is also this, it's in English, but I think it's worth it to go through it, and you have it in the Google site, so if you want to go through it again to learn more things about Pablo Picasso, that is fine, okay? So this is Pablo Picasso, more or less. And you've got some facts here. He was born on the 25th of October in 1881, 1881, in Málaga, España. That was his full name, remember? That they said that he had more names than fingers. So his name was Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno María de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. Well, this is not like a common thing in Spain. Normally we have 1 or 2 names as maximum, okay? But he was named after the people in his family and other special people, okay? Now maybe you are named after a family member or someone who's very special, I don't know. So they say that the first thing that Picasso was able to say was peace, from lapid, you know this word, lapid, because that's like the first word that he said, he was able to say. He went to a special school of art, and like his dad, because his dad was an artist as well, he loved painting birds, and then he permanently settled in Paris after studying in Madrid and Barcelona. Then this is what I was telling you about, Cubism, okay? So Weeping Woman and other paintings by him that are related to Cubismo, okay? So he had different styles, different periods of his life. So this is one painting from his Periodo Azul, okay? Because he was triste, estaba triste. And this is El Guernica, one of Picasso's most famous works of art, which was painting in 1937. This painting is really big. Oh, look, it says the size here, 3.5 meters, 7.8 meters, wide and tall. I said high, tall. And it took him a month to paint it, okay? And then he also made sculptures and wrote poetry and worked with pottery. So he married twice. His first wife was a Russian ballet dancer. And then he married his second wife, and they were married until he died. And he had 4 children. So this is about Picasso, okay? So going back to our presentation. Now, going back to our Periodo Azul, see everything in blue, Periodo Rosa, El Guernica. And Guernica is also a town in the north of Spain, in the Basque Country, where the suffering from the war was really terrible, okay? This is the Cubismo, and the three musicians, los tres músicos. And now you probably are thinking, how could I, if I wanted to draw a portrait of myself or of somebody, how could I do this following the Cubism theories? Okay, I've prepared this video for you all, which is here. I want you to watch this video, and this will be your homework, okay? This is a way of doing a piece of art following the Cubism, okay? And I really encourage you to watch the video and to try to do something similar, because Picasso always used very, he used paintings, but he also used pieces of paper or pieces of cloth, anything that was cheap and at his hand. And because he was an artist, he was able to make that into a piece of art. So this is something you can do. So you watch this video and then see if you feel like trying to do this, a piece of art at home.
Para hacer un retrato cubista vamos a necesitar una regla, una cartulina, un lápiz, un rotulador, pegamento, varias láminas de retratos que nos gusten, unas tijeras.
Okay, so what she's saying, years 3 and 4, you've done school, we've done this topic, so you understand all these words, and years 5 and 6, they should understand them as well. Una regla, un lápiz, un rotulador, pegamento, una cartulina, or which is a piece of card or a piece of paper, well, better if it is card, unas tijeras, and then we need some pictures, some portraits, and you probably think, well, where can I find this? Okay, so go through your any magazines or any, how do you call these when they come like from Tesco or from Lidl or Marks and Spencer, these, you know, like magazines with lots of different things advertising their products. You can go through that and try to find any pictures where you can find people, okay? So that's accessible. So once you have all these,
lo primero que haremos será coger una lámina y con ayuda de la regla ir trazando líneas sobre el rostro del retrato.
So what she's doing is writing lines on,
formando polígonos.
Writing lines on top of the face, okay, and trying to make with these lines shapes. Un triángulo, otro triángulo, and you do the same with different faces because you need several. Otra cara.
Dibujaremos sobre las partes que nos interesen, como los ojos, la boca o las orejas.
Now you know all these words. So she's saying that you will try to make shapes on top of the parts of the face that you are interested for making a portrait, a cubism, un retrato cubista. So como los ojos, la nariz, la boca, las orejas, el pelo, ¿ok?
Trazaremos polígonos sobre todas las láminas, para luego al recortar tener más partes para componer el retrato.
So as many as you can, because then you'll have more pieces in which you can choose what you want. And don't forget the neck.
Una vez tengamos todas las láminas dibujadas, recortaremos estos polígonos.
So you cut these pieces.
Recortaremos cada una de las láminas.
maybe you want to use
Cuando
the
estén
hands.
todas las partes de la cara recortadas, tomaremos la cartulina y comenzaremos el retrato dibujando con el rotulador el cuerpo de nuestro personaje.
Entonces el cuerpo, the body, you draw it with your feltic pen, con el rotulador. Lo dibujáis. El cuerpo, pero la cara no.
Luego, pasaremos a componer el rostro a partir de los pedacitos que hemos recortado de los retratos.
Well, rostro means face, so we can say cara or rostro, which is like a very formal word, okay? But what she's saying, dibujamos el cuerpo y después hacemos el rostro, la cara, with the different pieces. So we might take one eye from one picture, another eye from another picture, or maybe 3 eyes. It doesn't matter, because that's cubism and surrealism, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because that's the perfect thing about it, okay? Because it's something creative.
Los colocaremos de forma aleatoria. Un ojo de un retrato, una oreja de otro. Podemos probar a realizar varias formas hasta encontrar la que nos guste.
So you try and try until you get what you want.
Cuando hayamos encontrado la composición que nos guste, empezaremos a pegar con el pegamento de barra.
So when you finish, when you find what you want, after trying to get them, like arrange them in the way you want, when you're happy with the result, then you start gluing con el pegamento, pegando una pieza, otra pieza, otra pieza.
Recuerda que no tiene que ser un rostro convencional. Puede tener más de 2 ojos y la nariz en el lugar de la oreja.
So she's saying, recuerda, remember, it doesn't have to be like a conventional face, like a normal, a perfect face. It can have more than 1 eye, more than 2 eyes, sorry. It can have his ear in the place of the nose, su oreja en el lugar de la nariz. That's fine.
Podemos realizar tantos retratos como queramos. Un hombre, una mujer, un niño.
Un hombre, a man, una mujer, a woman, un niño. Okay, so this is for you to work on the portrait. I'm going to show you this because this is an activity very similar. You only have to watch it, done by some children that went to visit the museum in Spain.
El taller en concreto Caras Cubistas consiste en dentro de la exposición de la colección cubista de Telefónica, que los niños vean diferentes formas de representar el mundo, en concreto cómo se hacía en la época cubista, dentro del movimiento cubista. Este en concreto de Caras Cubistas inicia realizándoles una fotografía a cada uno con la que luego van a trabajar en el taller.
Okay, so because they went to the museum, we couldn't, but we can still do it similar. I mean, do what I told you with pictures from different magazines. When they went into the museum, these kids, this is in Spain, they had, the pictures they used was their own. So they did autorretratos, okay, like self-portraits. But as I said, if you don't have a picture of your own, or you don't want to like draw on it and draw on top of it and then cut it into pieces, you can do what I told you, okay? But that's another experience. Maybe we will be able to do something like this sometime.
Una vez que se ha realizado ese retrato, se pasa a la sala, en este caso en la 4ª planta, que es donde está la colección cubista de Telefónica. Allí analizamos los cuadros, los retratos, y en cada cuadro les hacemos una serie de preguntas para que ellos mismos vayan sacando información de los cuadros. Intentamos centrarles, preguntarles si es un interior, un exterior, si es un personaje real, ficticio, si está disfrazado, sobre todo qué elementos proporcionan la identidad de ese personaje, ¿no? Que se identifiquen. eso que ya han aprendido en la sala, subimos otra vez al aula. Una vez que están hechos los equipos y colocados cada uno en una mesa, esos retratos que hemos hecho al principio, de cada uno, individuales, a cada uno le damos el suyo y les decimos que tienen que cortar las partes del rostro para crear un solo retrato en esa cartulina, al cual le van a acompañar luego con un escenario, utilizando material, bueno, pues, diferentes papeles, revistas, recortes, todo lo que ellos quieran.
So what they did was they were in teams of 4. If you're at home, you won't be able to do it maybe, or you can do it with your siblings. If you are in the school, maybe your teacher will want to do this with you. And they had a picture of themselves, a photograph, but in teams of 4, they had to make just one portrait. They could also use, apart from their photos, so that means that maybe there was the eye of one and the ear of the other and then the nose of the other, so they made this portrait. And they also got from different pictures and magazines maybe necklaces or other glasses, other things that they wanted to add to this portrait. You watch.
Lo que nosotros intentamos es que cada uno recorte la parte que quiera para esa cara cubista dentro de su retrato, y eso es lo que más les cuesta, pero bueno, al final acaban realizando una cara o un retrato, que es de lo que se trata. Ellos sobre todo lo que identifican son las formas, ¿no? Que les es mucho más fácil que saber exactamente lo que están representando, pero hay muchos cuadros que ellos identifican objetos que a los demás nos pueden pasar más desapercibidos.
That's one. Very nice.
Una fábrica de moda. Un señor con dos caras rojas, mira. Muy bien. Se me ha ocurrido a mí.
Una cantante, ¿sabéis? Fijaros, pero es una cantante folclórica. Fijaros qué peineta, la han puesto más chula.
Mi mano. Es un señor que no le gustaba el sol, entonces un día se tiró al mar y le iba a comer un tiburón.
So that was the experience in the museum. As I said, you might be able to do this in the school or at home. You've got everything here in Pablo Picasso in the section Picasso. Okay, let me go back. So this is for next day. We will be doing something else. So quickly I'm going to revise. We've done la fecha, el tiempo, and some routines telling the time. ¿Qué hora es? Then we've learned about formas geométricas. We've learned about Pablo Picasso. And for deberes, well, you've got the live worksheets, and I'm going to be adding plus a portrait. Cubist, un retrato cubista. Okay, so this is for this week. Let's see what happens if you come out with a nice portrait, maybe a piece of art. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos la próxima semana. Stay safe. Adiós.